does the speaking. It's my husband, Ted. He's usually traveling around different parishes, different events. So when the invitations came out around Christmas time, I thought I'd have a little fun with my kids. So I gave the invitation, I had my name in the middle, to my oldest daughter who's home from college. She's reading, looking. All of a sudden she stops. She looks up. You? I'm not Dad. Okay, fair enough. So I gave it to my son in high school. I'm like, hey, what do you think of this? You want to go to this? What do you think? He's looking. What? You're speaking? Totally confused. So then I tried one more time. I took it to my high school daughter, and I said, what do you think? Tell me what you think. She's looking, she's like, that's weird. You're speaking? So with my kids, I'm 0 for 3. But I want to tell you all, I am thrilled to be here tonight. And speaking of communities and events and things like this, I always love stuff like this because I feel like when we all get together around a common goal, it's kind of like what heaven's going to be like. You know, we're going to get up there, we're going to be like, whoa, you made it, this is awesome, who tried with you? Like here we come and we see friends that are old, friends that are new. We see people that maybe I just saw you yesterday in Carline, or maybe I saw you weeks or months ago. You just never know who you're going to run into at an event like this. It's really wonderful. And if you're new to the Lourdes community, I want to welcome you. It's good that you're here, and we're so glad to have you. Our family ended up at Lourdes about 3 years ago. Before that, we were on the homeschooling train. We had all our kids at home. We had this fabulous classical Catholic curriculum. It was really lovely. And it all came in a box, and it was all about this is what you say, this is what you do this worksheet, and I grade it. It was all laid out. It was perfect for my temperament, my personality. But eventually we had to switch gears. Eventually we'd send a couple kids to a charter school here and there. Maybe we'd do like a co-op in our neighborhood down in Lone Tree, or a co-op at church. We'd even do like supplemental programs for a day or two here and there. And it was a lot. But I kept hearing about this place called Our Lady of Lourdes. Like this classical elementary school. And I kept hearing about it over and over again. So finally I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna go visit, I'm just gonna go see it. So Ryan O'Connor showed me around. 2016, I was craving out to here with our 8th. And I just loved it. I was looking around, I'd see this fine art on the walls. And then right next to it, you know, Michelangelo and Caravaggio, these great works. And then there would be the children's attempts to imitate and learn from the master. I learned about the music that they were singing, the poems they were reciting together as a class. They were learning Latin, and they were even diagramming sentences. I'm a nerd, I love diagramming sentences. They were coming at history from a Catholic perspective, and they were deeply rooted in Catholicism with daily mass and a richness in religion class. So I fell in love with the school. It was almost like what we had done at home in our classical homeschooling was existing in this brick and mortar school. It was really amazing. So I came home and I told Ted, and of course he's uber practical. Well, that's nice, honey, but you know there's all these wait lists, right? Like seriously, it's good luck getting in, right? Because both of us knew that our schedules, our life, it's crazy. We couldn't have 2 kids at Lourdes, 2 kids homeschooling, 2 kids doing this homeschooling program. It just wasn't gonna work. But I applied anyway. And then I got the miraculous email saying all 4 kids got in for the right grades. And that was our sign to take us to Lourdes. We've loved it. We even started going to Lourdes as our parish. And with the longer drives, and the even longer homilies, we love it. We love every minute of it, Father. Okay, so now I want to shift gears here, talk about something rich and deep. It's been in my heart a lot lately. So in the beginning of John's Gospel, there's a verse, John chapter 1, verse 16. From his fullness we have all received grace upon grace. Some translations call it grace in place of grace. Bishop Robert Barron expands on this and calls this the loop of grace. The idea is this: God's grace is a gift unlike any other grace. If we try to cling to it and make it our own permanently, we actually lose it. Instead, grace is made to be given away. What we've received as a gift, give as a gift. And in the process of it, that original gift, you don't lose it. You still have it, it's just enhanced. It's multiplied, it's made better. We're supposed to give away that which we are receiving. There's an example of this in my own life. When I, way back in the day, was a high school senior, just graduated, and I was getting ready to go to Benedictine College as a freshman. Let me see, yeah. So I was working like a crazy person that summer, trying to earn enough money for tuition. One of my jobs was working as a waitress at a country club. Now, this wasn't your normal waitressing gig, right? It was members of the club, right? So they go out, they do their golf games, they come in, have a sandwich, get a drink, and then they tell me their account number. I go to the computer, plug it in, and bring them a receipt to sign. Done deal. There's no cash, there's no credit card, nothing like that. It was just straight up an hourly wage for me with built-in gratuity. So one Sunday I was set to work at the club, but first I went to Mass. And in my parish that morning, there was a guest. He was the abbot of St. Benedict's Abbey. St. Benedict's Abbey sponsored this Benedictine college. I was overcome with joy. I was so happy, like, oh, here's the abbot, it's my college, I'm so pumped to be there. And I felt really drawn to support the monks at St. Benedict's Abbey. These were gonna be the men supporting me for the next 4 years, so I wanted to be generous. So I pulled over my purse, I took out my wallet, I had $7 there. This was supposed to be my gas money for the next week. So I took a deep breath, put the cash in the basket. Went to work, and it was just a normal day, nothing exceptional. And then at the end of the day, just going through the books and setting them aside, the weirdest thing happened, something that had never happened before. I opened up one book, and there was a $5 bill. Someone seriously left me a tip when they didn't have to. So I took the $5 bill, set it aside, kept going through, opened another book, and there were 2 singles in there. I took it out, set it aside, all of a sudden, I'm like, whoa, what just happened here? Like, where's my money again? Couldn't believe it. It was a miracle. I had given what I had for the monks, and then God had multiplied it somehow, and here I was with my widow's mite. All that my car had to live on for the week had been given back to me. So $7, it's not a big chunk of change, right? I mean, it's $7, right? But that $7 taught me a very valuable lesson that day. Because I learned in that moment that God cannot and will not be outdone in generosity. I stepped into the loop of grace. I gave all that I had, and it was restored to me in a whole new, refreshing, beautiful, wonderful way. And this is something that God doesn't want to just do with our finances. He wants to do it with our time, with our work, with our energy. Moms, I'm looking at you. He wants to do it with our prayer life, with our relationships, and in our families at home. He gives us his gifts and his graces so that we can give those gifts away, but then in the process, we receive even more. It's really kind of paradoxical. So how do we enter into this loop of grace? One simple word, yes. And look at this yes, though, in 2 different ways, 2 radically different ways. The first yes, I call the Nike yes. This is the just do it yes. Just will it, just make it happen, get it done, no matter what. And when I think of this kind of driven intensity, I think of my high school son. I don't know where he gets it, it's not from me. So my son has this driven intensity. Years ago, Beth Sri family were really into soccer. Love soccer, play soccer, watch soccer, all about soccer. One time, Paul had it in his mind that he wanted to learn how to juggle a soccer ball 3,000 times without stopping. So here's my middle schooler in the backyard, kicking for hours on end. And I would look over there and see, drop the ball, pick it up, start the count again. Weeks, he's doing this after school, kicking, and he finally nailed it. And that season, his ball handling skills improved immensely. This last summer for Paul, he decided he wanted to learn how to do flips. So he watched a ton of YouTube videos, did all sorts of exercises that needed to be done to strengthen certain muscle groups, and then he grabbed an old mattress, went to the backyard, and gave it a whirl. It was pretty brutal initially, but man, he pulled it off. And now that boy pulls out these flips on trips to Washington, D.C., the middle of Park Meadows Mall, and of course at high school dances. So this driven intensity, this seeing something through to the finish line, to the goal, even when sacrifice is involved, that's something that we can apply to our spiritual lives. You know, next week, I hate to break it to you, Lent starts. Get ready. I guess it's 2 weeks from now. We're going to get ashes. We're going to make a commitment to make a sacrifice. And this isn't a sacrifice just for the sake of sacrificing something. It's not just because, well, we're Catholic and that's what Catholics do. It's more than that. Lent is the time that we can say yes with a driven intensity, where we can plant the flag and say, Lord, I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to get it done for you. We can give God some space in this sacrifice to multiply the grace that He's given us so we can give it to the world. We're going to use our wills when it comes to Lent. We're going to give up something. Maybe chocolate, maybe alcohol, social media. We're going to give up ourselves. We'll volunteer, give to the poor of our time. Or we can give our financial resources. Maybe you can start tonight and give into Lourdes. We can give our time to God in prayer. Extra daily Mass maybe, extra holy hour in front of the Blessed Sacrament. But whatever you do, the key is to be generous, to do your will, to choose to do something for our Lord. And this Nike, just do it, just make it happen, yes, is really what can open us up and stretch us to give us more grace, for His grace to flourish in our lives. That's not the only type of yes. There's another type that's maybe not quite so pleasant. This is when we're not in control. Things happen to us that maybe we didn't want to happen, that we didn't prefer to happen, that are not our choice. This kind of yes makes me think of Simon of Cyrene. Oftentimes in the fifth station of the cross, we see him and think, oh, Simon, he's such a model of compassion and service. He helped Jesus carry his cross. But no, it's actually quite the opposite. I mean, Simon didn't really wake up Good Friday and say, today is prison ministry day. I can't wait to go into Jerusalem and help a criminal. Not likely. What really happened is Simon was in the wrong place at the wrong time. He was forced to carry Jesus' cross. He didn't choose it. I kind of picture him, when he was tapped and the Roman soldier tells him what to do. What if he said, oh, Mr. Roman soldier, oh, I see what you're saying. So I can't really do it today. See, I've got my two sons here. We're here for Jerusalem. It's a really important meeting. I'm not your man, but that guy over here, go for it. He might have done that. He could have been yoked with Jesus and still grumbling, kick the sand. Oh, I want to be here. We don't know what he did. We don't know how he responded initially. But one thing we do know is that eventually he accepted carrying Jesus' cross with him. And he allowed that experience to radically change him. So much so that he became a Christian. His family became a Christian. And they were leaders in the early church. We all have our Simon moments. We have those moments where things happen to us and we're not in control. We didn't choose it and we sure don't want it. Maybe it's something like a friend said something unkind to us and we can't stop thinking about it. Maybe we're rushing to get somewhere and we drop our cell phone and it shatters and we're thinking, I don't have time to deal with this. For me personally, something small. When I come downstairs in the morning to the kitchen and I step on Cheerios, I cannot handle that. Crunch, early. Now in that moment, I could lose it and say, who did this? I'm never having Cheerios again. And I have 10 pounds. You could ask my kids. Anyway, but in that moment, I can also just take a deep breath. Okay, Lord, I accept this. I'm just gonna let it go. We can also have our bigger Simon moments. We could have scary health issues. We have major financial setbacks, or even devastating things happening in our marriage. Maybe we struggle with infertility, or we have the heartbreak of a miscarriage. Or maybe it's even a positive pregnancy test, and we already feel like we're drowning. These are things that we may not have chosen, and yet it's an invitation from Jesus himself to lean in and to sit with him in the hard. He has something for us there. He wants to teach us. He wants to show us. He wants to make us brave, to make us strong. But it's up to us to say yes to him in those moments. And it's up to us to lean in and find out what it is that he wants there. I have to admit, this is something pretty personal, but I've been feeling like a Simon lately, like over the last few years. Something I wasn't planning, I wasn't expecting. Wasn't expecting, and there was this tough spot he kept pushing on. So what it is when I was young, about 4 years old, my parents divorced. And my whole life, I never really thought of it as any kind of big deal. You know, I have brown hair, blue eyes, my parents divorced, I grew up in Kansas, I live in Colorado, and now I have 8 kids with my husband, right? It was just like a neutral fact of life. But the last few years, he's been pushing in and pressing to show me, no, you've got something there. You've got something deep, locked and loaded, something you're hiding that you don't want to face. It was the pain and the sorrow of things that I'd gone through. In that moment, I could have turned away. I could have said, yeah, I know, Lord, you're right, but who has time to deal with that? No, that's too hard, it's too much, forget it. But saying yes and allowing him to go in those deep, dark spots with me, to take me by the hand and show me, you know, that was a really tough thing we went through. But we're going to shine some light on it. And now's the time to heal you from it. And you know that thing that happened? Because that happened, you see things and you see people in this certain way. And you know what? That's not reality. That's not what I made you for. And I have to say, sitting there with Jesus, letting him heal me, letting him tear me apart and rebuild me has been the most liberating thing. I didn't know I was going to cry tonight. Sorry. I'm not crying. But seriously, his pushing in and me accepting it has stretched me, has changed me, has made me totally new. And because of that, I can hold more grace. I have more grace to give to my husband, to give to my kids, to give to my friends, my community. And he might have a Simon moment in store for you. The key is that when he asks, when he pushes in, will you say yes? Will you accept it? Will you allow it to change you? So ultimately, these two types of yeses, the type, the just do it, make it happen, get it done, yes, just will it, and the Simon of Simon yeses, come together in one single person, and that person is Our Lady, the Mother of Grace. Her first yes was her fiat. Her yes, I will be the mother of the Messiah. She gave that carte blanche to the Lord. We have a book that we read to our little itty-bitty kiddos, and honestly, I like to read it more for myself. It's that good. But it shows a little boy going about his daily things, trying to be like Mary. It has the same refrain. So it shows the little boy with his siblings, and they're arguing, and he wants to get in the fight. But instead, he backs off, and he's kind. And it says, I will do what God wants. You see the mother pulling up her car to the house, and it's full of groceries, and the little boy runs out of the house, helps his mom bring the groceries, and saying, I will do what God wants. Then you see the little boy kneeling by his bed at night to say his prayers, saying, I will do what God wants, which is the essence of Mary's fiat. She said, I will do what God wants in every moment of her life. But Mary also had those unplanned yeses, those yeses where she just wasn't in control. The flight to Egypt, can you imagine, moms, being woken up in the middle of the night saying you need to move and that your son's life is in danger? Losing a child for 3 whole days? No mom's going to want that. But then ultimately the crucifixion and death of her only son. Here at Lourdes, we have a wonderful art teacher, and she teaches about the Pietà, which is a statue Michelangelo did that's in St. Peter's Basilica. And in the Pietà, she's holding this beautiful Mary, young face, just gorgeous. And yet she's holding this gigantic body of her son. really brings you into this moment where Mary gave her yes. She accepted. She allowed it to change her. But at the same time, in the Pietà, she has a message for us. Because in the sculpture, she has her hand outstretched, welcoming us to enter in to the scene, creating space for God's grace to enter into her life, into his life, into our lives. So as we move into Lent in the next couple weeks, may we all have our hands out, saying yes to the things that we plan and the things that are out of our control. Continue to allow that loop of grace to live through us and in us each day. May God bless you all. Enjoy tonight.